Hello, all. Today I'm going to continue my series on how to be free from drugs and alcohol and also cigarettes. I'm going to talk about my history and my past. First, what I'm going to talk about is cigarettes. I know people say, oh, cigarettes is not that much. No, cigarettes can kill you. So let's talk about that. And I'm going to talk about how I was actually delivered from smoking cigarettes. It's like I never smoked a day in my life. Now, and I didn't try the patch, so don't go there. I didn't try Nicorettes, all these other different other nicotine substance, because they all is just more nicotine. So how did they think giving you nicotine is going to stop you from wanting more nicotine? That makes no sense to me. Okay, that's a man thing. Okay. Now, I have been smoking since I was 16 years old. I picked up my first cigarette when I was 16 years old. The funny thing is that when I smoked my first cigarette, I fell out of a freaking chair. So, what was my thinking on that one when I was 16? Okay. So, I got dizzy and sick, but then I continued on, and then my body got adjusted to it, and I started smoking. Then I got to the point where I was smoking a pack and a half a day. And at that point, while I was smoking a pack and a half a day, I started wanting to stop smoking because I started going to church and stuff like that. And some people would say, oh, you're being a hypocrite. You're still smoking, da, da, da. Understand something. You don't go to God clean. You come to him as you are. I had a lot of other things going on, but this video is about the cigarette smoking. I'll get to the other ones later, but today is more about cigarette smoking, not other drugs, but we'll get there. Okay, so here I am. I got sick, and let me back up a little bit. What actually happened was I started asking God to get rid of the cigarettes because I know I couldn't do it. He's the only one can get rid of stuff. So I was like, okay, Lord, I'm giving this over to you because I cannot do it myself. It's no way. I got to a pack and a half a day. If I woke up in the middle of the night, I had to make sure I got my cigarettes. And I got to get to the bathroom, but I got to find those matches first, you know. So I get to the bathroom and I get my cigarette smoke on. And it's like a break between sleep to smoke a cigarette. So I had it that bad. So one day, I got really sick. I ended up in the hospital. I had oxygen tank and a oxygen mask on. And I was thinking about smoking. But remember, mind you, I had asked God to stop me from smoking. That wasn't his way of stopping me from smoking, but I'm in the hospital really sick. I had pneumonia and a blood clot to go to my lung. I was really sick. So I'm sitting here and I had a lot of different doctors coming in and out of my room and nurses as well. And I had one mean nurse. She was not nice at all because they were constantly drawing my blood and stuff like that. And so I kind of ignored the nurses and the doctors that were all coming in the room. And finally, and I was still thinking about cigarettes. Of course, I wanted a cigarette. I'm laying in the hospital, but then I thought, I had this oxygen on. I'm going to blow my fool self up. It was a little joking to myself, and it was funny. And I kind of laughed to myself. And then a nurse came in the room, and I had just thought about smoking a cigarette. So a nurse came in my room, which I thought was a nurse, and she walked past me, and she said, if you want to smoke, it's a patio outside. And she walked to the window. So I didn't turn and look at her face because, like I said, I had so many doctors and so many nurses in the room. So I just ignored her. And I said, nah, I don't want to smoke. And she walked out the room. And actually, that's the last time I wanted a cigarette. And the trip part of it is, this nurse was like, she looked to be like 5'4". And another nurse came in and she had to be about 5'8", 5'9", so she was a lot taller than that other nurse, which I assume was a nurse. And I said, what happened to the other nurse I had? And she said, what nurse? You didn't have a nurse in here. And I'll go, oh, okay. And I kept it to myself because Ward B was upstairs, which is mental for people with mental problems. So I didn't want them to ship me to Ward B. So I said, okay, thanks. And so I'm sitting there, and then I did not want a cigarette. At that point, it was no more wanting to smoke. So then I start thinking, maybe because I'm in the hospital, I don't want to smoke anymore. So I'm getting out the hospital 2 weeks later. I still haven't wanted a cigarette. And my mom offered to buy me some cigarettes because she usually did buy me cigarettes or whatever I wanted. And I go, no, I don't want a cigarette. I haven't been smoking all this time. No. So I get home and made a long story long. Anyway, I actually have not smoked a day since then. And it's been over 20 some odd years since I smoked a cigarette. So don't tell me God doesn't do some awesome things. I didn't realize what he was doing at the time, but I know I had gave it over to him. And it was like, he just took it, not like he took it away from me. It's actually, I'm going to the like again, never smoked a day in my life. That's how I feel. I don't have cigarette urges. I don't feel like I need to go back to them or anything. It's like I never smoked a day in my life. So I'm telling you this story to start you off, to understand what God can do when you let him, when you allow him into your life and let him do what he wants to do to change you. Don't let people tell you when you need to change or how you need to change. Allow God to change you. Give it over to him. Have a wonderful day. And just want to say one more thing. My next video is going to be a little more on the drug issue type side. So just continue to watch, and I'll continue to tell you a little bit about my story and watch what God does for you. Have a wonderful day.